Our world is constantly changing, for better and for worse. As we have discovered more and more about our world, our past and what else is out there, let us count down 3 interesting discoveries you may have missed. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be taking a look at 3 interesting changes for the better. Secret city has been found hiding below the Amazon jungle. The Inca society has left its mark on the pages of history, known as a distinctive group breaking expectations of old world civilizations. While many of us have heard of the Inca Empire, for those of us who are not quite history buffs, we will give you a reminder. The Incan people lived throughout the west of South America and made up the largest empire in pre-Columbian America. It was in the early 13th century that the Inca civilization grew from the Peruvian highlands. The empire flourished, making notable strides in architecture and religion, building roads, mapping the way from Colombia to Argentina. That was the case until 1532, when the Spanish conquest began, with the final stronghold finally being conquered in 1572. Just because the Incas' timeline cuts off here does not mean this is when their historical significance also fell off. We are still finding incredible, important details and discoveries about the Incas 8 centuries later. Today, the study of the Incas and their importance to the wider public is reduced to the tourist hotspots, most famously Machu Picchu, a 15th century Inca citadel found in Peru, though this is not the only Incan site of great importance. Archaeologists uncovered what has been dubbed a secret city, hiding within the Amazon jungle. This hidden masterpiece is the relatively unheard-of settlement of Chacaquirao. The 2009 documentary Mysterious World of the Inca dives into the importance of Chacaquirao, which can only be reached by a 2-day hike from Cusco. This settlement was one of the last points of defense, protecting the Amazon from further than 18,000 square meters in. So far, an underwhelming 30% has been excavated. According to the previously mentioned documentary, all across the areas of land that were once part of the Incan Empire, there are unusual places described by the documentary narrator as strange and mysterious. These sites are called huaca. They acted as idols, and some cultures of the period believed these areas had supernatural powers. Huaca were one part of the Inca religious concept. While huaca can refer to any sacred object, it was most often used to talk about the concepts of what would happen after the passing of life and to take part in sacred rituals. Huaca can also refer to the spirits that are within or are themselves physical features, including waterfalls, lakes, distinctive stones, or even man-made shrines. Of course, it is not an accident that several Inca settlements and huaca are hard to track down. The difficulty to access these sites and their disguised nature were intentional. As the Spanish aimed to conquer many areas like Choqquequirao, it made sense the architecture of these tucked-away groups made this tricky to do. Many have said the hidden design of the Inca settlements is what let so many settlements avoid being conquered for so long. The 2009 documentary even suggested that in the instance of Choqquequirao, the location might have served more of a practical value, being secluded, than a spiritual one of being a huaca. A lot of the unique history of the Inca has been written over and tampered by that of the conquests. It can often be difficult to find the line between the culture and achievements of the Inca and where the European invaders took over. In the case of the tucked-away, so-called lost settlements, the new groups arriving did not happen until much later. It was not until the mid-19th century that Choqquequirao saw Europeans. This means we can clearly see the design features that were typical to the Inca, including the trapezoidal windows, the systems of canals, and the location and orientation of buildings. These small things all add up to create a more accurate picture of this advanced society, from the vegetation kept close to the home to the defense measures to hide from conquerors. Carbon dioxide confirmed on the Moon. We are always looking for gases and compounds on other planets that resemble what we see on Earth. While we have heard many whispers of water on Mars that could indicate life, one lesser heard conversation is that of carbon dioxide on the Moon. though after decades of theorizing and questioning, it seems as though we might have an answer. Researchers as of November 2021 seem to have found lunar carbon dioxide cold traps that could have solid carbon dioxide components. Some areas of our moon are constantly shadowed, shrouded in darkness, with little impact from the sun in these areas. The temperatures can drop lower than those of Pluto. With such staggeringly low temperatures, cold traps are able to form. Cold traps are areas so cold that volatile substances can freeze and become solid. So why does it really make a difference if the CO2 is solid or not? If the carbon dioxide is solid, this means that it can be used to prolong lunar research. In the future, when we send explorers up, whether they are human or robotic, this solid carbon dioxide can provide the necessary materials for fuel and materials for longer expeditions. Furthermore, increasing our understanding of how volatile substances interact on the moon could help us with research into how water, amongst other elements and compounds, form and may appear on the moon. Despite this new research confirming the existence of and mapping out the areas for carbon dioxide cold traps, the idea of cold traps has been included in discussions and predictions by planetary scientists for years. To begin confirming these theories and suggestions, researchers used 11 years' worth of temperature data from the Diviner Lunar Radiometer experiment, a high-tech piece of equipment aboard NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter. The 2021 research published in the AGU Journal Geophysical Research Letters shows that a number of the cold traps are focused on the lunar South Pole. They span 204 square kilometers. The most concentrated area is in the Amundsen crater, which is home to 84 square kilometers of cold traps. Here, the temperatures never seem to exceed 60 degrees Kelvin, which is about minus 352 degrees Fahrenheit. Despite the exciting and promising aspects of this discovery, it is important to remember that just because there are cold traps on the moon does not mean that there are solid forms of carbon dioxide, just that there could potentially be. Norbert Schorghofer, a planetary scientist at the Planetary Science Institute and the lead author of this study, said, "My surprise was that the cold traps are actually definitely there. There are plenty of missions to track down aspects of research that go by unsuccessfully, with years of more studying before being able to confirm any of the theories at all. This research continues to be highly promising. While at the moment all we can confirm is the existence of cold traps, it will not be long before these discoveries have much greater, more practical applications, from rocket fuel to finding water." Supersaurus was the longest dinosaur to walk the Earth. Jurassic Park fans, this discovery is bound to pique your interest. We all love dinosaurs, from the stories told on the big screen to their bones in the museum. Dinosaurs are bound to have caught your eye at one point or another. Now though, scientists believe that a new sequencing of fossils could have led them to the longest dinosaur that had walked the Earth. The dinosaur has been dubbed Supersaurus thanks to its excessive length. The current estimation is that these dinosaurs would range between 128 to 137 feet in length, according to research presented at the annual Society of Vertebrate Paleontology Conference. To put this staggering size into perspective, this could make the dinosaur longer than a 13-story building is tall, longer than a blue whale, longer than 3 school buses, and longer than a Boeing 737 aircraft. The sheer size of this beast does sound monstrous, though evidence suggests that the Supersaurus was a herbivore. The National History Museum's timeline places this species in the early Cretaceous period, between 154 and 142 million years in the past. However, as with many areas of scientific study, there is a great deal of doubt and uncertainty surrounding the title of longest dinosaur in the world. More often than not, dinosaur bones are found in sections, fragments, and fossils that all have to be pieced together like a jigsaw puzzle. Brian Curtis, a paleontologist at the Arizona Museum of Natural History, explained that all it takes is for a few pieces of the bone to not have been discovered, and then the entire measurement needs to be shifted. This makes it impossible to accurately determine the height, length, or really any dimensions in relation to these dinosaurs. In the case of the Supersaurus, the fossils were muddled up with some others, forming one confusing aspect to many other works in progress. Now that these bones have been rightly relocated, they, alongside a recently excavated set of fossils, show researchers a more accurate idea as to the length of the Supersaurus. Whilst there is still room for the Supersaurus to grow as more bones are found, or shrink if we have misplaced some, it is always exciting to gain a clearer image of the world that came before us. We have exciting, interesting discoveries taking place every day, from delving into our past, be it the Incas or the dinosaurs, to diving into the future of space exploration. The research and groundbreaking ideas continue to push us forward. But what do you make of these 3 interesting discoveries? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.